Last name for you, please, Nick?
Nick Polino.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right.
Nick,
All right.
what's it been like getting back in the flow and some challenges to kind of going full speed and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, it's definitely been exciting getting back out there. I'm kind of bittersweet, you know, missing a good portion of my senior season. It's not how I really wanted things to go going into the season, obviously, but being able to be in the situation I was in, still have a chance to, you know, come back and finish up the tail end of the season with the guys and hopefully make a bowl game and that sort of thing. A lot of guys don't find themselves in that position once going down, so it's exciting. Just got to keep working, you know, gets better and better every day. I mean, from a functional standpoint, I'm pretty much good to go. Just kind of, you know, battling the information, that sort of thing, just keeping it day by day.
Are you working at guard and center in practice, or
Yeah, I've been working predominantly at guard, but I mean, I obviously am center. I can play center as well, so you know, like I've always said, wherever they want me to play, that's where I'll go. That's all I'm really focused on right now, is just helping the team out to whatever capacity I can. Got to make up for a little bit of lost time, so whatever I can do to help the guys these next couple of games, I'm going to do it.
Coach Longa said that while you were out, you offered the line a lot of support. You were a little bit of a coach-like, cheerleader-like, just a guy that was there to support them, didn't back away because you were injured. Was that a challenge for you at all, or was that something that you knew as soon as you went down that that was one of your responsibilities, because you are one of the few older guys in that room?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say going into it, once I, you know, found out that I was going to have surgery and I was going to have to miss a decent amount of games, that's kind of, I wanted to be as involved as I could. I wanted to, you know, help out in whatever capacity I could help out in. Obviously, you know, some of the games, like, it's a little bit tougher, you know, being a senior, sitting there watching my guys take, you know, Clemson down to the wire, you know, go get the victory belt back from Duke. Obviously, from my point of view, you know, I'd want to be out there. That's kind of the battle that you have to do, but at the same time, given the fact, my circumstance, I couldn't be out there. I'd help the guys who were out there as much as I could. So, you know, been playing for a while. I got a lot of experience under my belt. I can see things that maybe, you know, the coach isn't watching at that point. He's watching somebody. I see something else. So, just kind of, you know, when they come off the bench, when they come off the field, you know, run over there, talk to the guys, see what they're seeing, you know, tell them what I was seeing, you know, that sort of thing. Just trying to help out in any way that I could. Aside
from the injury itself, and then learning you had to have surgery, what was the hardest moment during this process for you?
I would honestly just say, you know, after that, just kind of, you know, having to miss so much time, you know, it was kind of, like I was saying, you know, your senior season, you got going into it, you know, you're thinking super high, and then just kind of having to be sidelined and not being able to be out there when you, like I was saying, when you see the guys, you know, taking Clemson down to the last play or that sort of thing. I mean, it's obviously like everyone on a team is important, and everyone has their role, but I guess there's a certain degree of pride that you feel, you know, when you are out there and you're playing and, you know, you're trading blows when you take a team down to the wire, you end up winning, pulling out a win. Like, that's kind of what you miss the most when you're sitting there and, you know, or when things are going wrong and you can't do anything to go out there and, like, make things better physically. That's definitely probably the hardest part.
Nick, from a career perspective, you came in and this team was way up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had a couple of tough years last year. As you're approaching the end here and you've got a chance to get back to a bowl game, kind of what does it mean to be able to be in contention for a bowl game at this point of the year and still, you know, you're still allowed in Coastal, for example, to have that ability late in your career?
I mean, it's been huge. I mean, it's been really fun to be able to do it with the guys you came in with, you know, be the senior class that has been able to start back on the trend where we want to be. We still got to finish strong. You know, we got good challenge this week. You know, Pittsburgh's a great team. We got next couple of games after that. You know, Mercer State, like, and then it's just trying to finish as strong as we can. You know, finish in a bowl game. Obviously, the objective would be to win that bowl game once we get there. You know, just kind of doing whatever we can. You know, just to get it back on track to where we want to be and set an example for the young guys to keep it going in the future.
What do you think separates Sam from other quarterbacks?
I mean, he's a stud. The kid, there's not a throw that he really can't make. And one thing that has been super surprising, you know, playing with Sam, especially with him being so young, is the poise and confidence that he has. I mean, even when things are going good, he's not going to show that much excitement. And when things are going bad, he's not like putting his head down. You know, he just kind of like he's a grinder. He knows his job. He knows what he's got to do, and he's not gonna. He's very consistent. He's very level-headed. So, I mean, it's good. He doesn't lose his head. He just stays in there. And I mean, obviously, you can see the kid's a freshman, and he steps in and makes throws in fourth quarter, big-time games. That is, I mean, it's remarkable. It's really been cool to see how he's been able to step in and do what he can do.
Nick, how do you think Brian has played in your absence, and how much have you kind of been there to kind of guide him along the way?
I mean, Brian's done great. I've always said, you know, he's going to go out there, he's going to give it everything he's got. He came in. I mean, it's a tough position to come into. You know, obviously going into a game and somebody goes down, and then all of a sudden you got to play the majority of the snaps going in. It's something kind of mentally that can be a little bit of a curveball, but you know, he handled it well. He's been playing really good ball. He's smart. I mean, he's just a tough kid. He's going to give it everything he's got. And pretty much when I was hurt, I would just kind of, you know, watch him, go up to him on the sideline, just kind of tell him, you know, little technique things that would like worked with me, like if he was struggling with a certain block or certain things like that. But I mean, he's the type of dude that he's gonna work as hard as he can to make up for whatever deficiencies he does have, and that's all you can really ask. And he's done a tremendous job. So I couldn't say any better things about him. I'm super proud of him. I love the kid to death. I mean, he's done great, and I think he's going to have a good career after this. So,
Nick, if I could ask a follow-up, when was the first time you knew that Sam was the real deal? Do you have a story of that kind of proved to you?
I mean, kind of going through summer and going through training camp and stuff, you know, you could tell that, you know, he's got some stuff about him. Super talented, but then at the same time, you know, being able to do it in a game is completely different than being able to do it in OTAs and stuff. You know, it's kind of one of those things, you know, with anyone, you don't really know until you know once you're out there. But I'd say, you know, probably that first game against South Carolina, that fourth quarter that he had, I mean, he was pretty sure he was cramping in his throwing hand, which, believe it or not, that can happen. But he was, I mean, he's just out there, he's getting his arm massaged when he's coming off the field, and then, you know, he goes in there, throws 2 strikes to take the lead against South Carolina late in the game. Comes back, does the same thing against Miami late in the game, you know. Just the way he's been able to handle himself and, you know, deliver when he's been called upon as a freshman and not really feel any of that pressure with the little playing experience he had. I mean, now he's obviously got at least close to a full season under his belt. But being able to do that as a freshman coming out of high school, playing your last game was a high school game, it's pretty remarkable.
Coach Brown said that Marcus McKeithen's probably been one of the most improved players just over the course of the season. I guess just you're pretty complimentary of him just through the preseason. Just what sort of strides have you seen him make since August?
I mean, Marcus he's been everyone's biggest surprise. I mean, he's always been somebody who's been super physically talented. He was always on like the cusp of being a great player, and then it was kind of in the middle of camp, you know, out of nowhere he kind of turned it up, and then ever since then, I mean, he's probably been our most consistent lineman. I mean, you never hearing problems from his side. I mean, he's a massive human being, as I've said before, and he's a big, strong, physically gifted guy. When he gets his hands on people, I mean, they disappear. So he's one of those guys. I'm glad that he's on our side. If you've ever met Marcus, he's a pretty physically imposing guy. He's not a big talker. Like, he's pretty soft spoken, but I mean, he just goes out there and does exactly what we want him to do and what we ask him to do, and that's all you can really ask for from an O-lineman. So he's been great, and he's really setting himself up well for the next couple seasons.
All right.
All right, we good?
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Nick. Appreciate it.